Hey, good evening, everyone. Wow, look at the people chatting already. Oh, and I'm gonna start knocking stuff over right off the bat. So I see Stacy's here. Hi, Stacy and J Dog, of course. Good that you didn't forget this week. Although I like the affogato pun. And let's see, Blue Dove is here, and Sia Hummel is here. Uh, Caboodle Bry is here. Let's see. Oh, and Hungry Heath, and you weren't first, but you're getting ready to talk about some coffee. We are. It's espresso tonight. Hey, cool kid Keto, nice to see you. Hi, Attila, and Hoofing It. So, oh, hey. I'm having. Oh, hi. Oh, hey. Is that? I can't read the screen from my table, so I see Strong 71. So nice that you're here. And hey, Air Fry and Auntie. Oh, double duty. Oh, who else is live right now? Oh, I'm missing someone else's live. But that's all right. These things happen. So, oh, what a day, right? Man, it's been quite the week. So, how's everyone doing? You all good? If you were a part of the big Snowmageddon, you all dug out yet? Everything is still a little bit icy here, but more or less back to normal. So that's good for us. Now, oh, that's weird. Oh, J-Dog says he had to adjust his video settings. It defaulted to 144p, even though I have 1080 available. I don't know. Could be something in my settings. It's been weird with the new computer. I might need to like scrub out OBS and start it over again. But then oh, okay. And Air Fryer Andy says no one else is live. They're filing a project. Well, that makes sense too. So let's see what else is going on. So I guess I can go ahead and just kind of get started here to go through a bunch of stuff. Um, Making an affogato, I don't know. I just had a hankering for dessert, and also I knew this was going to be like the next couple weeks, this week and next week, super crazy. Oh, and Caboodle Bryce says they actually transitioned to slushy today. Made it up to 40. So, oh, that's no good, especially outside, because then it gets all muddy and disgusting. And J-Dog says they'll be in the 80s by Thursday. I tell you, moving back to Tucson sounds more and more tempting every year. Except for then in the summer, I'm thinking about how I'll be dying out in the 120-degree heat. So, you can't win. Anyways, I'm going to make an affogato, and I'm going to start with this craziness that I did. So, I just did a keto chow ice cream. I used the cookies and cream, but I added vanilla to it because I think it's got a nice vanilla forward flavor. And I used, look at that, it's a perfect ball. I used for a whole entire creamy pint. I used 4 ounces of heavy cream. See, Marion has joined us. Good evening. So 4 ounces of heavy cream, and then I used 1 package of the cookies and cream keto chow. And on top of that, then I added a half a teaspoon of the allulose, and then 2 cups of the unsweetened Almond Breeze almond milk. And I blended that up. It makes 2 cups in the creamy pint. Perfect, exactly right. Froze that, and then I spun it on the, oh, and I added vanilla bean too. So, and then I spun that in the creamy. Because I was making affogato, I used the gelato setting. I had to run it twice, and then I had to go ahead and run the respin. If you don't have a creamy, it'll be more challenging to get that scoopable ice cream because most of the commercial ice creams, the compressor and stuff, it's a bit softer. But what I actually did was I spun my ice cream and then I scooped it and immediately made sure it was perfect ball shaped, and I wrapped it in the saran wrap and stuck it back in the freezer. Then a couple hours ago, I took it out of the freezer and put it in the fridge so it could get, it's still solid, but it's a softer. So let's see what we've got here in the comments. Oh, Hoofman, it says they can't believe how much of it thawed today. Yeah, that's quite a lot. And then I see somebody is gasping at something Hungry Heath said, but I missed it, so it's probably for the best because he's sometimes off the hook. Marion just took a break to go get water. That's a good plan. I have my water over here off to the side because I get very thirsty in the live streams. Also, when you have a lot of coffee, you need to go back and forth with the water and stuff in here. Now, let's see. Oh, hey, Warden. It's nice to see you. And let's see. Yeah. You know, it's cold here. It doesn't stop me from eating ice cream. I just wear an electric blanket while I eat it most of the time. So, the other thing that I said I was going to do was I was going to make a pizzelle. This is Chef Taffney's recipe from the Keto Chow website. So, everybody should be able to find it real easy. I've got here 2 ounces of avocado oil. I forgot to bring scissors down. Oh, wait, no, I didn't. There's a scissors here. I don't like tearing these packages because inevitably I then spill it everywhere. So, but I've got a pistachio keto chow, and the reason, ooh, that was almost bad, just a little spill. The reason I got the pistachio is because usually if you have something with avocado, which is already a dessert, they usually will, it'll usually be something small, a little almond biscotti or things like that. And we've done a biscotti before, and quite frankly, keto biscottis are not the greatest. So I went a different route. Better to do my own thing. To this, I'm also going to add about a ½ teaspoon of almond extract. I like the almond extract because it boosts the pistachio into that almond profile, which, you know, kind of goes along with that whole almond biscotti sort of thing. And then, if I can get my container open, 2 eggs. I can't tell you, I started getting my eggs from another local friend, and man, they are just the best eggs. I am so happy, and I gotta remember to send him a note that I want to pick up more before I go on vacation, so I have the farm fresh eggs at the hotel for OhioCon. So, and then the other thing is, and I don't know if I'm going to use all this. I already don't know if it'll come out if I don't, because I didn't ask. But they have a 1/4 cup of the erythritol sweetener. I've got a 1/4 cup of the Lakanto monk fruit sweetener. But I experimented earlier, and we all agreed it's just like super sweet. So I think I'm going to try using only half of this. I mean, you guys, that's a lot of sweetener. That seems like way plenty to me. So I'm stopping. And so got about another 1/4 of that left. Hopefully it still works out the same. But after that, you know, it's got a good amount of the avocado oil. And I shouldn't have turned this on so soon, but you guys, this is the Dash Mini Pizzelle maker. You can see the inside. It's just got the little pizzelle shape. It's very flat and thin. So it's also hot. And basically all we're going to do is mix these up. My eggs don't want to break up. Wow, look at all the hellos. You guys are very busy today. Oh, I see Carla has joined us and Reikwin96. Let's see. And Jujubee's here. Hey, Gigi. So, and Gigi's here. So, my goodness, it's a busy night. But lots of hellos. Let me just scroll back for a second and make sure I didn't miss anything important. I mean, all of it's important, but you know, the hellos and stuff are not as important to read out loud on the live. Let's see, transitioned. Oh, and Blue Dove says they didn't have any Snowmageddon. And that's nice. I'm very jealous. I actually moved down here to get away from the snow, and the fact that it's just getting more and more each year has been making me crazy. So, oh, at Cool Kid Keto, I'm sorry to read that. Cool Kid Keto says they had to leave for work at 4 a.m. because the car was frozen closed. I'm really lucky I have a remote start, so once we had the big ice portion, I started up my vehicle and let it thaw underneath, so then I could kind of slide the ice off. I'll have to do another round now, but it won't be nearly as horrendous, especially since it's going to start warming up a little bit. Oh, and Jujubee says their hubby has mixed up an apple pie and an eggnog, but didn't mark them. So you'll have to, well, so it'll be a surprise when you guys pick them out. I love doing that, though. I often make batches of keto chows all the same color, so I never know which one I'm actually getting for the day. And let me actually start mixing this up again instead of gossiping. So, well, and J-Dog has to rub it in a little bit more. They had no snow in Chandler, Arizona. So, that's all right. We occasionally, where I grew up in the Southwest, is a little teeny town called Lordsburg, New Mexico. And every couple of years, we would get like a little dusting of snow, and everybody just would go absolutely crazy. They would love it, and they would go and they would scrape stuff into the snow. And like by, it would come and it would be that little dusting at about like 8 o'clock in the morning, and by 10 it would be all gone. But we just used to love it. Oh, hey, Sis and Ham, nice to see you. Says he got your coffee and just pressed an ice cream and spun it. Awesome. So you can have an affogato with me. Goodness, this is taking a while to mix up. So, in case you are wondering, this comes out, it's very similar to like when you make waffles with the keto chow, although I don't put any oil in them. And if you're wondering why I'm using keto chow, or if you're not someone who buys keto chow, I know it seems crazy to use it all, but it's actually just a super handy ingredient for recipes. It's just easy, and a lot of people can use things a lot of people can use a lot of things like Carb Quick and stuff, but because I have problems with wheat and so many ingredient restrictions with the seizure control and all of that, it's right out because it has wheat in it. Let's see. No snow. More hellos. Hey, let's see. Carla is here. Just got that. And then the warden says a math question for me. If I put 30 grams of espresso grind in the Chemex, how many cups of water? Oh, I don't know if the espresso grind will be so great in the Chemex because it will have a hard time going through. Although, wait, you have a metal filter, right? It might work. You might find you have to give it an extra stir. Espresso grind is honestly, if you're making like a big container of it, I'm not sure. But for 30 grams, so let's just call it a 1-to-3 ratio. So 90 milliliters of water. I know that's probably not that helpful because you asked for cups, but that's what I got right now. So I can't do grams to cups in my head. So 90 grams or 90 milliliters. Anyway, so this is how your batter looks. So it's pretty thick. It's very scoopable. And I'm going to put a scoop into here. Now I have this very tiny cookie scoop. It's the one scoop. Now for the Pizzelle maker, you should know the recipe by Keto Chow says it makes 15, and that's because you can't put a lot of batter on here. Inevitably, I always screw a few of them up because I put too much batter. You can't fill this all the way and put it in the Pizzelle maker. It overflows, and then it's annoying to get out. So, but I get like a 3/4 scoop going. And the dashes are always super hot. You just kind of plop it in the middle. they don't ever come out exactly right. And then I set my timer for 3 minutes, and there. So, and that's it. That's it. Now, I will tell you the Pizzelles are soft when they first come out. And then we just have to set them there and let them wait. So, but with espresso grind, espresso brews vary depending on how much. Yeah, also the medium grind went through too quick because you have a permanent grind, a permanent filter. You probably don't necessarily need all the way to espresso grind, but depending on what kind of grinder you have, it'll be fine. Definitely, I think you're just going to have to fiddle with it because the espresso grind can be very strong. Anyway, so the ratios on espressos, if you're making a traditional espresso, it's about a 1 to 2.5. If you're making a lungo, which is the long pour, or a double, it's 1 to 3. So in that case, basically 10 grams of espresso powder to or espresso grind to 30 grams of water. And tonight I'm going to use the Supreme Bustelo. I really like it. It's extra strong in flavor, which pairs well with the ice cream because it's very thick and rich. So let's see. Oh, and J-Dog says they've had snow in Phoenix a couple times. But it obviously doesn't last. Just like what I was talking about growing up with. So if the medium grind is going through so quick, I would start bumping it down slowly and experimenting a little bit. I'm just trying to think. Let me think on that, and I might get back to you outside the live. I might have to fiddle with it a little bit on my own. But now I'm going to talk about my espresso. I've got a cheap craptastic espresso machine that a lot of pros will tell you to just throw it away. And oh, there it is. I was like, oh no, I forgot my tamper, but I didn't. So with the espresso machine, you have your little brewer pod, and then you have your filter. It comes like this. So I also weigh everything because it actually, for espresso, it does matter. Oops. So I put it on here. I'm having trouble with my thing. It doesn't want to turn on. There we go. And I am just going to do my 10 grams. Where's my scoop? I'm so disorganized right now, you guys. What is up with that? I think some of it is just this. Okay, I do not know what my Pizzelles are doing, but it is puffing up all crazy. They don't usually do that, but hey, whatever. So it's going to be a little bit of a weird one, but I'm going to pull it off and I'm just going to throw it here. It still looks cute. It's just weirdly puffy on one side. Fine. I'll take it. But I'm going to measure out my espresso here. And let's see, 6. That was 6 grams. 9. There we go. Now, one thing I'll tell you is all fluffed up. This does look like it is filling the espresso pod. Bring it up here for you. But the important thing that you do with the espresso is a thing called tamping. So you take your pod and you put this little weighted on and you give it a hard push. Hi, COP's join us, and Ran Can Cook. Nice to see you guys. And I'm going to put another Pizzelle on. So I don't know why they're coming out weird. I wonder if now I need to put the rest of that erythritol in there, if it like weighs it down something or something. That's why you have to follow recipes, but I don't care because even if they're a little weird, they'll be good anyways. How bad can it be, right? If nothing else, it's just a little soft. Anyways, you tamp it down, and it's a common mistake people make because they think that these espresso cups should be full all the way, but really they should always have quite a bit of space at the top. Let's see. And the reason you want that space is so that the water, when it hits the pressure, has some space to spread out and permeate the grounds. Now, because I'm having an affogato, instead of brewing into my espresso cup, I'm brewing into this pour vessel. Some people actually brew directly onto the ice cream, but I don't like to do that. I like to do it and then pour it. It gives me more control and I enjoy it better. So let me just sit this on here. I have to let my espresso maker... I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of that erythritol because I'm wondering if that's why this is so strangely puffy. Let me just set my little scooper aside for a second. Maybe it was that much erythritol for a reason. And if not, then they'll just be even sweeter. Maybe it's because it's pistachio instead of vanilla or caramel macchiato, which is what I use for the other ones. Who knows? At any rate, like with all recipes, sometimes they come out and sometimes they do not. And that's why I don't really try to fake you guys out on the live stream. I just like cooking and making it real. I've dropped something down here. And it is what it is. It's my little... wipe my fingers towel. So this is actually right now my espresso machine is heating up. It's bringing the water to temperature, and at this point it just flash ready. So I'm going to take my double shot and it'll brew. So it takes a minute and it does make noise because it's an espresso machine. I don't know if you guys can see it on the camera. I'm sorry it's loud, but it will be a few moments. So, yeah, they will be very sweet. That's all right. Sorry for it. Just a minute. Oh, and J-Dog has a Fancy Pants DeLonghi Magnifica. He says his self-tamps, but he needs to take it into a service center. Oh, that's a bummer. So... but it brewed the best espresso. Yeah, this does not brew the best espresso. But if you are really good and careful with it, then it does get better. And that's why it's important with this particular one that you do pay attention and do all the weighing and stuff like that. If you don't, that's how this one gets real bitter real fast. So, and it's a Calphalon. So, but, you know, I wasn't going to spend money for a ton. I forgot to set a timer, you guys. I'm going to burn my fingers. Like I said, they'll be a little weird, but I'm still going to eat it. Because really, now it's just like a very thin waffle. Try putting a little less batter in, too. As you can see, it's just a small dollop, but it's just like wild crazy today. Press it down. And start. I'll use a timer so I don't forget. So, now my espresso has finished brewing. And I'm going to leave I'm just going to turn my machine off. Now, I don't know if I can tilt it enough so you can see. So you can see here, I've got quite a lot of nice crema. And all that is the affogato. I've got my little ball of ice cream. And now I'm going to pour my espresso over it. Yes, it is hot and it does kind of melt it a little bit. That's the whole point. Now, that is actually now, I will tell you why it's called affogato. I use more espresso than others, but I don't care because I love espresso so much. It's called affogato. Affogato actually means drowned. I know, but it's just me. So I can lick the espresso off the spatula if I want to. I'm not sharing with nobody. If you're sharing, don't ever do that. But... so there you go. I've got my drowned little ice cream in the espresso and it starts melting into the espresso and getting delicious. You eat the ice cream. In theory, you're supposed to eat it. So fast so it doesn't melt. I don't care if it melts because I think it's amazing and delicious. But so drowned is because it's drowned in the coffee. And of course, you don't add any sweetener to espresso, especially with the ice cream, because the ice cream is so sweet. Oh, and the warden says they're waiting on their keto chow order, so they might have to make one for Valentine's. Oh, somebody else is going to have to fill you on licorice recipes, because that is not going to be me. I have an aversion to black licorice. And that's actually how I found that I had something in common with Richard. In the younger days, drinking something that has licorice flavor. So then when you drink too much and you get really sick, you never ever want it again. Never ever. In fact, I can't stand the smell, and people were saying it is great because it reminds them of the licorice candies, and I was like, just thinking about it, I was like kind of put off. And even if I think about, if my kid has some and they open the box and they're like all the way on the other side of the couch, I'm like, I can smell that. I don't even know if I really can, but I think I can, and it's so done. And all of you know that just to make sure that I had my recipe right, that earlier today I made some with caramel macchiato. And they were perfect. So, I don't know. Oh, this is better. It's still floppy because they come out that way, but look, it's not so weirdly fluffy. So that'll be fine. I guess the extra erythritol is very important to this recipe. And a little bit less batter. So I use about half of this scoop. Boy, that's going to make a lot of these. I don't know if I'll make them all or if I'm just going to do a few here on the stream. So that's the thing about the Affogato. Now, it did originate in Italy. Oh, guess who? I know who. So they've been cooking and prepping. It's the spell from Shelley and Heath. Does that mean you're cooking on the black stone? Oh, and Sistenham says the black coffee smells strong, but it doesn't taste as strong as you would like. Try using a slightly, if you're grinding your own coffee, dial it down one tighter to just a little bit to the next number down. I'm sorry, guys. I don't mean to be rude, but I'm eating my ice cream. I've been thinking about it like all week long. And for those of you who missed it earlier, I'll repeat. What I did for the ice cream was I used the cookies and cream keto chow because I think that it has a really good vanilla flavor. Then I added vanilla to it, the vanilla bean sprinkles, and a little bit of allulose. I used 4 ounces of heavy cream and not quite 2 cups of the unsweetened almond milk and the one package. So whatever it is to make it 2 cups total. Blended it all up, threw it in the creamy pint. I used the gelato setting on the creamy, and then after I spun it, I scooped out my little ice cream ball, wrapped it in saran wrap, and froze it solid. Then let it sit out and come to and then re-soften before I put it in my little dessert dish. Which I don't know if you guys can see the pattern. This is the Wexford glass. It's from it's cut glass, and like it's not actually collectible, but I collect it because I love that pattern. And I have so many little dishes. Like when I have my Pizzelle, like I should have saved the Pizzelle. I should have waited a little bit and ate it with the Pizzelle. But I even have my little dish that has the same pattern. And I have big party platters. I have a big punch bowl. I don't have the glasses. The glasses are really cool and funky looking, but let me, yeah, so these didn't get crunchy like the other ones. Hey, Attila, if you're paying attention, could you run down? Well, never mind, actually. I was going to have you get one, but I put it in the container, so those will soften too. But, let me pull this one off. So you can see they do start getting, they start firming up, as you can see. Like here's the one I just took off and it's all floppy. And then this one is solid and crunchy. And as they sit, they get crunchier. Oh, and the warden says they've sold them in their Etsy shop, the Wexford glass. Hey, if you come across the dinner plates, you snatch those up and you let me know and I will buy them. The dinner plates are hard to get. So, yeah. Anyways, I ate all the ice cream. I actually made 3 of those ice cream balls, but only one fit in my little dish. So, I totally don't care that I'm going to drink my coffee right out of the dish. So, now, I was telling you, of course, the Affogato originated in Italy. However, we don't know who first came up with the recipe. Oh, and the warden says they sold a moss or a Vaseline butter dish today. Wow, that's super cool. So, oh, and Cool Kid Keto collects old antique coffee cans. I'll keep that in mind. Sometimes I see some really vintage ones at like the antique malls, although I haven't been for a really long time. Hey, good evening, Rhonda. Nice to see you on. Let's see. Oh, so anyways, we don't know, but it didn't show up until like the 1900s, about when the espresso machine was developed. Go figure, because it's espresso drowning ice cream. Now, of course, gelato itself is very old and has been around since like the 16th century. But espresso machines, not fancy like this, but old school espresso machines came on the scene in the early 1900s. And in the United States, the first one was in 1927 at Reggio's in New York. It was called the La Pavoni. So the first espresso machine was patented in 1901 by Bernardo, and I'm going to slaughter his last name, Buontalente. It's not my forte. His name is outside my pronunciation range today. So, that's, again, that's where the gap is. I'm pretty sure if they had espresso machines earlier, affogatos would have been earlier. So there's not a lot of huge information about it. Now I will tell you that what I had tonight, it's the affogato, but because I'm having the addition of a cookie with it, it would be called a decorated affogato. So, yeah, quite good. So, I forgot to press the start on this Pizzelle again. I'm going to squish it down. So, now normally they would be served, like I said, with the biscotti. The other thing that they serve it with is a cantuccini. Now, to be honest, I don't really know what the difference is between the cantuccini and the biscotti, other than maybe the cantuccinis are sometimes smaller than the biscotti. They both mean twice baked. And that's what you do with a biscotti, is you make the cookie, you bake it, and then you cut it, and then you flip it and bake it again. So, I don't know. The other thing that sometimes they do with the affogatos is they'll serve it with a chocolate or a caramel sauce. If they serve it with booze, like a brandy or wine, it would be called an affogato corretto or corretto affogato. I don't know which way. Oh, and Quinn is asking, it's Wexford, cut glass. So it's very kitschy and loud, like me. I'm very kitschy and loud. So let's see. I'm going to call this one done. I brought my tongs down and I keep grabbing these with my fingers, even though the whole reason I brought the tong, not being rude and put that on my plate, is so that I would stop burning my finger, because this week during the cosplay, I point like as if you can see it. I've burned it with the glue gun, pinched it like a gazillion times with super strong magnets. And then earlier, I burned myself getting my egg out of the air fryer. And then I burned myself on this damn waffle iron. So my finger has had it. It's got a nice little blister on it. And I am just so done. So, however, my cosplay is coming along great. I actually feel that I'm in a good space. For those of you who are interested, and have a drink of water. So, yeah, Cool Kid Keto mentions that they miss biscotti and is asking if there's a good keto alternative. I've seen a lot of recipes. I've tried a lot of recipes. None of them have come out that great. So, let's see. Oh, and OP is thanks OP for reminding everybody to hit the thumbs up. That's awesome. And guess who? Thanks for liking my background. I love the coffee beans, especially because you can see like the shiny oils on them, and it's just kind of glistening. So, oh, and Becca is here, and hey Becca, and says that maybe Indigo Neely could come up with a couple of biscotti recipes. You know what? That's a good idea. I'm gonna have to bake some of those breads and see if I can come up with using that protein power flour. Maybe that will work better. I used almond flour when I made the biscotti, and it was just a little bit too soft. I'm really getting skimpy on the batter here, trying hard to make it not be so puffy and soft. For the life of me, I don't know why they're being puffy today when they never have. And yes, I am taking that big of a bite. And Renee says they've made the Italian beef in the crock pot for well over 12 hours. Oh, wow, that sounds great. And then belly in the oven now to make the pork belly Brussels sprouts. Man, those pork belly Brussels sprouts that were on the Hungry Heath and live stream that Shelly has been making, those looked amazing. I'm going to have to up my game. I usually make them with bacon, but next week is grocery shop week after I get back from vacation. So I think I'm going to have to pick up pork belly and try that out. We love Brussels sprouts here. And then Stacy says sugar-free mom might have one. I can't remember if it was sugar-free mom or not, but it sounds familiar, and I think that might have been one of the recipes, and it just didn't work out. They were way too soft for biscotti. And the biscotti that I made were pretty good, but they were crunchy for a little bit, but they did not all the way through. And they were very crumbly, so they didn't have enough of a snap to it. It was really close. Yeah, and then I'm sorry, I don't know how to say that. Systemasm. I'm trying. Oh my gosh, I'm butchering your name. I am so sorry. Made gingerbread biscotti during the holidays. They were good, but a little crumbly. See, crumbly was what I ran into, and I'm pretty sure that was the almond flour problem. So that's the big deal. So let me tell you about the Pizzelles. I went through and I put them into Chronometer, and I called it 10 because Chef Taffy's recipe says you make 15, and most of the time I don't come up with 15 of them. Now, I've never used the pistachio before. I've almost always used the pumpkin spice caramel or the vanilla. And so clearly there's something different between the keto chows that made these ones not as crispity crunchity. So I don't know. But for 10 of these, one Pizzelle is 79 calories, 3.9 grams protein, 3.2 grams total carbs, zero point 0.2 net carbs, and 6.8 grams total fat. I'm going to let it go a little bit longer and see if that helps. Cook it longer. 2.3 of those grams are sugar alcohols, and 0.7 is fiber, coming from the keto chow and the monk fruit sweetener. So, not bad. And that comes to, in ratios, 22% protein, 2% carbs, and 76% fat. Oh, Blue Dove? I don't know. I did use it with almond flour. But there are other things in the non-ketofied versions that help it stay together. And the ketofied versions, it's too much almond flour and it gets crumblies. It is true that the last time I used the monk fruit, and so I might try blending some allulose in and see if that helps. So, hey Tim, nice to see you join us. And Elaine, likewise. And Elaine says they love the taste of coffee, but espresso's kind of strong. They went to Italy and never had an espresso, and their Americano coffee was not that good. So, Elaine, that is probably because you are used to American blends. It is true. Italian coffees are very strong, and I find them immensely pleasurable. But it is very easy to get an Italian coffee that has gone bitter. You definitely have to go to a place that is really well known for their coffees. You need to go to an actual coffee house. And even then, if your exposure to coffee is primarily American coffee, it is going to taste over-extracted and strong. True Italian coffees are really, well, I mean, quite frankly, you can run a marathon on it. So, an exchange student says they made the Pizzelle recipe yesterday, but cooked it as a pancake. And they didn't use the sweetener either. I bet these would be great as pancakes. But yeah, like I said, almost always they cool down and get to be a crunchy cookie, and the pistachio version is just a little bit softer and fluffier. So it is what it is. I don't mind. Because really, what I'm going to do is save them and eat them over the next couple days at breakfast. With a couple eggs or something else. So, also, they are getting crispier as they go. I'm adding an extra minute, 4 minutes per cook. Oops. So I said, except for I did it wrong. There we go. There we go. Now I'm doing 4 minutes. Yeah, so Cool Kid Keto. Yeah, that's actually what I made back in the early days of the live stream. Was I made a pistachio biscotti, and it was very tasty, but it just didn't quite come out right. A little more playing with the recipe at some point might help. So, let's see. Oh, back to the whole, in case anyone is curious, a little about gelato. So just so you know, I went ahead and I used Keto Chow ice cream because we're keto and we're not going to be making a traditional affogato regardless because we're not going to have all that sugar. But if you're not familiar with gelato, just so you know, like, and you've only had like a regular American ice creams are both of them are made from milk and sugars and all of that stuff. But traditional gelato is lighter and fluffier and smoother. It does not have any eggs in the base. So, and it uses more milk and less of the fat. So gelato will only have like 4 to 9, maybe topping out at 10% butterfat, whereas regular ice cream includes eggs in the base, adds way more sugar than gelato, and has at least 25% of the butterfat added, often all the way up to like 45%. So regular ice cream is like super bad for you because it is way lots and lots and lots of sugar and paired with lots and lots and lots of fat. So I will say, gelato's not all that great for you either, but at least they've reduced the fat with their sugar component. For us, the non-sugar and the higher fat works out great, and it still tastes really good. So, but that's your difference between the gelato and the ice cream, in case you were curious. If you're not curious, well, that was a lot of useless words for you. Now this Pizzelle is still warm, so it's soft, but I can already see it's much more cookie-fied. I cooked it, I forgot to set the timer, and I let it cook longer. It's maybe just a teensy side over, but it's definitely going to get that more cookies feel to it. So, let's see. Blue Dove says they just ordered a Pizzelle maker, and they were out of stock all over, but they were able to order one from Williams-Sonoma. That's really cool. I might like to get a regular Pizzelle maker. Oh, and then Lisa says they didn't realize what a Pizzelle was until watching what we're making. And they have a Pizzelle plate for their crepe sandwich maker. Oh, that's super cool. That'll be neat to try out. Anyways, I finished my dessert. I told you guys I really love espresso, so it went way down faster than a regular cup of coffee. So, an air frying auntie is wondering if they can find a small espresso machine. You absolutely can. They're kind of spendy to get a decent one, but they do make smaller ones. And actually, while not the most amazing espresso, you might try getting one that uses the Illy pods. They might be a little more friendly towards using the size. So, and System Sam has said they have yet to use their Pizzelle Dash. Well, I'm disgruntled because these are not coming out the way I wanted them to, but they're still delicious. I don't know. But as you can see, not floppy now that they've been resting. So, cookie. Just not as good as the other flavor, and that's all right. And then, and Renee says, is letting Air Fry and Auntie know to check where Shelly got hers in the Amazon warehouse. That's a good idea. Because my finger really hurts today. Illy is a brand of coffee. They make coffee and espresso, really high-end espresso, but they also have their own pods, like Nespresso has pods and Keurig has pods. Illy also has their own pods. And if you're looking for a small, compact espresso machine, those pods make a tasty drink. And they do have smaller machines. They also have larger ones. They have some that are this size, but they have one that's a small little narrow. And a secret is that I've been holding on to is if I ever reach 500 subscribers, Illy will give me one of those to give away. So, there's your incentive to spread the channel about and grow us. So I don't know if you ever really have to do this, but I always let my dashes sit and reheat in between each time I pour on there. And I don't have to just keep making these. Eventually I'll get tired of making them and I will simply take the batter up and throw it on the regular waffle maker. They're not the greatest waffles because they shrink down, but they're still pretty good. Actually, I could save this and add in baking powder, which would make them puffier, but that would be the waffle component. Oh, and J-Dog says Illy also has standalone stores. Yes, they do. Not here in Ohio, though. They are really good. They've got a good reputation. So, yeah, I just have to say it's a really good. It's a high-end coffee, well respected. So, anyways, one thing I was gonna say. So, just to update you guys, I am going on my vacation next week. So when I go live, I have yet to figure out how I'm pulling this off. Lighting may be crazy because I'm going to be in my hotel room. I don't know how, but I picked something easy. I picked another AeroPress recipe with a special thing on it that I'll be demonstrating for you. And I'm going to cook in the hotel room. We've seen it done before, the Warden and Hungry Heath. So I figured, why not? And it's not as if I'm not going to be on my 5th night in the hotel anyway, so I'll be ready to have something nice. And I will be so ready to not be seeing the rest of the staff from the con. I had to get an exemption from the staff dinner. I have no desire to be there. It's not that I don't love them, but if you've gone to really large-scale conventions and you're a part of staff, you know that you guys are dealing with all of the bullshit that you keep tucked behind the scenes, and you go hard at the con. So by the end of the con, you're tired and you're cranky, and then they take staff out to dinner and do a recap, and everybody is tired and starving and cranky, and it's all food that I can't eat because they get like spaghettis or stuff like that. And I was like, oh, guys, I need an exemption to not attend the staff dinner on Sunday because I'm hosting my live stream. Now, I know that you, my subscribers, would be fine if I told you I had to do vacation convention stuff and was going to skip a live stream, but A, I don't want to. I'd rather spend time with you guys anyways, and B, the idea of having to sit at a table for like 3 or 4 hours and watch everyone eat things that I can't eat, and someplace where I can't bring my own food because it's against the venue's regulations, it just kills me. So better to let the young volunteers who are desperately in need of the food have it. Language? What language? Are you talking about the fact that I said bullshit? That's not a bad word. Is it? Well, I'm not close to being monetized anyway, so it doesn't matter. But, these things happen. But, anyway, but I am super excited to go to this convention. I'm really nervous because I haven't been going out with the whole pandemic and stuff. So, we'll see how it goes. And I wanted to update because I know I've been showing little tidbits on my personal Facebook. And I know that I showed some of my cosplay before we got everything done. But you guys, it's been such a huge, enormous effort. I was afraid to bring pieces of my cosplay down here, lest during live stream stuff, I would spill something on it or do things like that. I promise to show you more. But I wore my Harley Quinn necklace. And I know you can't see it all on the stream, but I did wear that because it's extra fun and crazy. And it has, even though most of my cosplay is Suicide Squad throwbacks or classic Harley Quinn throwbacks, I decided that I wanted at least one Birds of Prey piece. And so I've got her necklace from that. it's so wild, loud, and tacky that I think it's going to be hilarious with The Mandalorian, you know, where you're supposed to be subtle about who you are. There's no subtle when it comes to Harley Quinn. So I'm just going to keep doing these while I chatter at you. Ask me some questions, folks. It's been a rough week. And normally I have like all kinds of fun science-y facts or historical facts or things like that. And there just really doesn't, again, just like last time with the other machine, there's not a lot to it to go over. Oh, and Cool Kid Keto says they have a concert to go to in March, and that's the first larger outing they've been to in a while. So I would say, Hungry Heath, use good judgment on that whole foul mouth thing. It's one thing if it's a light little slip of the tongue. It's another if you're going all out with the swears in a large string. There's nothing wrong with the occasional swear, but you know what I mean. So, but yes, the absolutely is fine. But, yeah. Oh, and Blue Dove says they thought the necklace looked a little busy for me, but that's why. And it's too bad that there's just no way to show the detail on it. It's just so hilarious. Her necklace is crazy pants. So it's got I know you can't see him, but I'm going to show you, I'm going to say it anyways. It's got a key, and then it has a soda pop tab, and then it has a fish hook. I'm going to go over here, because over here, it has a woman signal with a insignia with a pearl, and then it has a little secret throwback, a little sneaky nod, a Wonder Woman bust, because it has the front little down stripes. And then it has this weird little black and silver pill. You didn't offend anyone. That's fine. If they can't take a little tiny swear, this is not the right stream for them. Like I said, we don't have to be crazy about it, but you don't need to censor yourself either. Just be normal. And then the piece de resistance on this necklace is that it has this little dog bone, which is always up for, I don't know. I don't think I can do it on this. It's too small. At any rate, it's got the dog bone, and if you ever watch any of them, and then Hungry Heath says, if I really expect him to have good judgment, that I have met his friends. I still expect good judgment. I think we can all do it, even though it's hard. Anyways, so... Oh, did I drop the F-bomb? See, it's just normal. It happens. Anyways, it has the dog bone that she wears in Birds of Prey says Bruce on it. Then it's hard to say what that means because they never actually revealed it in either the comic or the movie. You just see it and you have no clue. And so everybody loves to guess about it. I'm going to let that go a little longer because it's still looking light and I forgot to set the timer again. But, oh, and Elaine says Keto Naturopath Kitchen makes pork rind biscotti that looks really good. Looks very hard and crispy. I will look that up, and if we love it, we'll make it, and of course we'll give credit. That's what we do. So, but the Bruce thing, a lot of people have said they don't know whether it is a reference to knowing Batman's secret identity, and she's giving him reverence after he saves her after the Joker tried to kill her again, and that's her nod that she knows who he is, but she's keeping it mums, or if it's a nod to one of the creators. lots of discussion back and forth as to what it does or doesn't mean. I personally like the idea that because she's been developing the anti-hero sort of personality in her own comic, and also it's the way it's slowly evolving in the movies, kind of like playing that catch-up. I like the idea that it's the nod that she knows, so, but is doing more or less kind of the right thing, sort of, within a curve, because, you know, it's that whole chaotic neutral sort of thing that she's got going. So, but that's it. And I will say I'm super excited because I'm like 95% done with my cosplay, and and at the beginning of last week, I had so much to get done because I had let work get a hold of things, and then I was just like having some stress, and there were just so much going on that the cosplay got way behind. But now it's looking good. It's not going to have everything I was looking for. I have some decals I wanted to put on. I had a patch that I wanted to put on the cape that's not going to make it. But those are things that can be for the next round, because you don't just make something this elaborate and only use it once. And so I'll be very excited to continue upgrading it. So, and yeah, well, and we mentioned, and then there's discussion that we all sort of tend to be in the Abby Norm sort of group. So, okay, that's true. We do sort of find each other. But, I'm just checking these. Yeah, it didn't, oh, there we go. It's kind of got, it's more cookie-fied. It's not as crispity as the other ones, but it's pretty good. I don't know if I could make it through a live stream with the costume, but I promise that I will post pictures, and if I'm allowed, because it depends on the filming, I'll try to get like a short put together of us at OhioCon so you can see the whole guild. It's going to be really super cool. We've got a steampunk Elorian. I think I said this before, but I'm going to say it again because it's so awesome. The steampunk Elorian, a Mirror Man Elorian, an Elsa Elorian, and me, the Harley Quinn Elorian, a couple other variants, and then my very favorite, it's just so punny, a Man DeLorean. Yes, yes. So I'm just like, I think it's going to be off the chain. I am excited. But, like, even this weekend, I thought I would be all done. But it's not, because yesterday I got called again to work because that big stuff I did suddenly stopped working properly. And so they had to call like an emergency thing. But as it turned out, it was nothing that we did. It was something that another department deployed that they shouldn't have because we asked them not to. And they broke everything and caused like a big old emergency. Thanks a lot for wasting my Saturday. mm. Mm. Yeah, cooking them longer seems to help quite a bit. But, oh, and Air Fryer Auntie says, I've missed out on the Mandalorian. Oh, that's a good one. I might have to remember that. Mandalorian. I won't remember it, but I would like to remember it. Oh, thanks. I'm glad that you like it. It's like I said, it's kind of like a piece of garbage espresso machine, but it is definitely good enough for me. And as long as you're careful about paying attention to how much espresso you put into it, it's perfectly serviceable. It's just fine. It's not going to impress any pro drinking coffee person, but if you're just your average coffee drinker, you will love it just fine. It's the Calphalon. It was under $300, Actually, it was a lot under because I got some kind of reward coupon Calphalon thing. So I really paid very little for it. I think I paid like $50 for it. So, of course it's not going to make the best of the best espressos. Oh, thanks. And Air Fried Annie says they'll try to remind me about the Mandalorian Quinn. That might be good. I might have to like lightly stencil that in on the shoulder armor. So. I don't know. I think that this one, like, even though it stayed longer, got even fluffier. This is like the weirdest batter today. I don't know what's gone up with it. You know what's going to be good, though? I bet if I add butter to them to tone down the sweetness, they'll be great. I can divide this up into like 3 days worth of servings. And Air Fried Auntie says that I'm way above the average coffee drinker, but I'm just going to tell you, not really. Just because I know a lot of stuff and I have a lot of things does not make me above average, because I will drink plain old black coffee from any old diner and be like super pleased. I just love myself a good old coffee. Do I like other fancier and smoother coffees? Yes, but I'm also perfectly happy in the other direction. All right. Let's try this one again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so I am making quite a lot of these though, because this is my second one that I've eaten and I've got 10 more. In the past, I haven't made more. So I've been getting 10 consistently. So it's a really weird tonight because I'm on a live stream. If I was just doing this up in the regular house and not in my studio and not on the live, it'd have been just like normal. But whatever. Still tasty. So what else have you all been up to lately? I know it's been crazy. And and Air Fried Annie says they had a great coffee at Mel's Drive-In on Friday night. Nice. Yeah. So just so you know, I don't know if you can. No, it's too soft. You can't quite hear it. I was hoping so that you could hear that it got more cookie-fied, but it's too soft for this live stream. But that's all right. Just so you know, it got more cookie-fied as it sat, like I said. So that's good. They're weirdly curly and fluffy initially, so I don't know about that part, but I am not unhappy with the flavor. They taste good. Sweeter than usual. So the original recipe is pretty good. I'd like to take it and mess with it some and experiment and see if I can get them crispier. I know, and the warden says that having Samson has kept them busy. So is that the name then that we're settling on, Samson? And then Air Fried Annie says they've been crafting a lot. It's hard when the passions collide and they miss their friends' live streams. Yeah, but crafting is really awesome. That's one thing that I do like about, the crochet, because I can watch live streams and still do my thing, and that's kind of nice. And Ren Can Cook says they've been getting out of their comfort zone, purchase a dual brew coffee maker. That sounds neat. I don't know what that is. So you'll have to post a picture. And then Reichwin says they've got a coffee roaster company who comes to the local farmers market during the summer and sells their coffee plus samples. So good. That sounds awesome. we have a couple places that go to our farmers market and they bring their coffees. And one of them is that Silverbridge that I like a lot. And actually, that is my favorite. Mm. And then an exchange student says their batter got fluffy and then sank. Yeah, I don't know why it does that sometimes. Because not all of the flavors do that. So it's interesting. I'd love to figure out why. So, but it is what it is. Oh, and Air Fry Annie says they're working on a teapot-shaped Alice in Wonderland-shaped chipboard album. Wow, that sounds amazing. And guess who says they sent me pictures? I'm going to see if I can see that. Oh, wow, that it's pictures of their crockpot meat. Oh, it looks great. That looks really delicious. We had hot pot today, and that was super fantastic. And I have some broth and some of the stuff left over in the fridge. So, in addition to having all of these little cookie waffles or whatever I'm going to call them, I have that soup. So I am all set for food. It has fish in it, which doesn't always reheat the best. I kind of wish I had been able to keep it raw, but I didn't want it to go bad because it was previously frozen. But that also means I'm the only one who will really eat it because it won't be the greatest fish after that. I'm okay with that. So, but I'm really super looking forward to that because I will have my warm broth, and then I've also got my little weirdly shaped pizzelle things, which will be excellent. And then, and Air Fry and Auntie saw pictures of my hot pot meal. They said it looked amazing. I'm looking forward to, yeah, it was really good. Hot pot is one of our favorites in this household. In fact, one of the days I might actually do that on the live stream. That would be cool, although it's kind of sloppy eating. I don't know if that matters. I think I'm going to try to do crepes next week in the hotel. And Rankan Kokonoi says his dog Riley wants us all to know they had a great walk today around the lake. Awesome. I hope that he made you work hard. My little dog is too elderly and arthritic. He doesn't like to go far on walkies anymore. It's hard, and sometimes I have to carry him down the stairs, so it makes me feel really bad. But when we come downstairs, we do try to do some laps inside the house in comfort. And so we'll do like 5 or 6 laps until he's too tired and he has to sit down. He's also got to the point where we do have stairs for like the cats to get onto the bed, but I think I have to get him some little stairs to get onto the couch so he can sit with us on the couch. So that's getting old. But considering, that he was a rescue and now he learned enough that he can detect my headaches and predict the seizures coming, that would be quite the, I don't know. He was a rescue, and when we got him, from like halfway down all the way to the bottom of his feet, he had like no hair, which for a Pomeranian, that's really bad. Yeah, he must have been just like trapped into a little cage, and we brought him home, and he was so pathetic that we had to, and just so unhealthy that we actually thought that his hairs might have been permanently damaged. So, and he had to wear little tiny dog pajamas, and we had to put special stuff on his skin to try and heal him up. So we thought we were just going to have that poor little dog. But I guess all of the extra care was great for him because all his fur grew in, and now it's wild and unruly, and we had to brush him all the time, and he's still got, he's still a challenge. So super glad that happened. Although the pajamas were hilarious. So And even though he has all that hair, you know, he's a double coated dog and his fur is all in, he still gets cold really easy and begs for like the space heater in my office and stuff to get turned on. Like, I don't understand that at all. Especially since, you know, he's a double coated dog that's supposed to be good for, you know, rounding up the cattle out in the cold and snow. So much for that. He's spoiled. Oh, and Blue Dove shares that their floof was glad to get their butt moving out in the sunshine today because with the ice and also a root canal, they've had a case of dragon ass. Well, yeah, that happens sometimes. So, I will tell you guys that, ow, my necklace pinched me. While a little bit more about the affogato, if you are interested, I did think that the cookies and cream made a better vanilla for the affogato than the actual vanilla does. And I am not a vanilla hater. I actually really love the Keto Chow vanilla ice cream. And even as a shake, I love the vanilla flavor. But for whatever reason, the cookies and cream has that mild vanilla flavor to it. And the light little bit of marshmallowiness, once you add the vanilla bean into it and mix it with a little bit of the allulose and stuff, it really highlights it, and it is more complementary to the espresso, especially the strong espresso like the Supremo Bustelo. I kind of wonder now because I have two more of those little ice cream balls, and I'm sort of wondering how they might be on top of one of these cookies with a little bit of some kind of a, maybe just like a breakfast syrup or something. I don't know. Now I'm getting too many flavors, I think. Probably maybe just warm one of these up in the air fryer and plunk the ice cream on it. There's no reason not to. It's Keto Chow, and it's not like it has a lot of, you know, I mean, it does have a lot of sweetener added. That's the part that I don't love, but as long as I'm not eating like all of the whole batches, it should be fine. And the warden says the spoiled pups are the best. I agree. Honestly, I'm not good at not spoiling the animals. And Ren Can Cook says they had the Snickers Keto Chow ice cream this afternoon. But the favorite is Butterfinger. I'm just saying, I cannot get enough of the gingerbread. I love that gingerbread, and I don't need more Keto Chow, but we actually have run through a lot of the singles, and we'll be finishing up our singles probably at this OhioCon, which is good because then we'll be back into the bulk bags, except for pina colada and gingerbread and some s'mores. Everything else is back to bulk bags. And I really think, though, that since I need magnesium again, I'm probably going to try and order more gingerbread if there's any left. I know it's really close to selling out, though, but it is hands down my very favorite. Let's see. Oh, and the warden says they've been missing the Keto Chow, but they never add sweetener to any of the recipes. I just find that for some of them it works good. Oh, and Air Frying Auntie says they have to run. Well, you have a great night, Air Frying Auntie. We miss you when you're not here, but I really love hearing about all the crafting you're doing. Oh, and Becca Price agrees with me. The gingerbread is awesome, as does Sistan Sam. Yeah, I'm a big fan. I hope that it makes it to the permanent flavors, although I understand why they might not want to, and why it might be a seasonal flavor, or even just where they run the batches periodically. But man, it is so good. I love it. So, which maybe that means I need less of it. I don't know. I don't know that I believe that. It's true for some things, but Also, the warden, I just wanted to say, I know that you are dairy free, and I have to say though, it has been working for you. I feel really bad saying it because I am a mad lover of dairy, but you look fantastic, and I think that the no dairy has probably been a big contributor to that. I don't know it for a fact. We'll know when you add some back in, but man, you look fantastic. I don't know if you feel different, but the change was dramatic when you dropped the dairy. And the warden says, what would be, is wondering what a good replacement for the role the sweetener plays is. You know, I really don't know. And I want to play around with it some more to see what I can come up with, because I feel like there's opportunity to change this recipe up a little bit. I'm really just not a big fan of adding all that sweetener, but it didn't work out the same when I didn't add it, so I just really have to think about it. I forgot to add the timer again. I'm just going to take it off. What I'm noticing is that on this one, man, I got myself all mixed up. I'm going to try placing the batter closer to the back side, because I noticed the back side is getting more done than the front side where it's getting fluffy and lifting. Give it a good mash down. So let's see. And I don't know. Man, it got fluffier. I don't know what a good replacement for the sweetener is, and I don't even know if it's truly what's adding the fluffiness. But, I mean, I'm just willing to try anything, and I want to try different sweeteners, too. So, oh, and the warden says they're glad they ordered some gingerbread, too. Oh, Rancan Cook says he's had no dairy or cheese for almost 2 months now. Yeah, I notice a lot of people do well without the dairy. I'm super glad that because I am a lover of the dairy, that when I've had to take dairy out of my diet for various testing reasons, it didn't do anything. I am completely tolerant of the dairy, thank goodness, because I do have to be way more strict in a lot of other areas that people can have. So I'll take what I can get, and I'm glad for that. But then and the warden says it's hard for them to see the differences, and they're probably sad that it probably is the dairy. But you won't know until you reintroduce. And when you reintroduce, just do one type of dairy at a time. Start with something light on the dairy, like maybe like just some Parmesan, like even just like a little bit of the fresh Parmesan. Go with those hard cheese that generally have very, very little of lactose, and then work your way to some of those other things, and save like your cream and stuff till last. I know it's hard to do it that way, but maybe you'll discover that part of it is the lactose. I don't know. It can be so many things in the dairy. Again, it has so many ingredients that it's hard to tell what it really is. But if you're lucky and it turns out to be the lactose, there are lots of options that are lactose free. Hopefully that's what it is. Oh, Rankin Cook says that since he did the BBBE for 49 days, they continued the no dairy and no cheese ongoing. So that's pretty cool. Like I said, we're all so different, and it's just so hard to tell. But as much as I love the cheese and I have my cheese Fridays and stuff, it's not like I'm eating it all the time. The dairy I get mostly comes from, honestly, the keto chow. And I do have cheese sauce, but we don't eat it all the time. You know, it's a once in a while thing. I don't eat cheese every day because, quite frankly, I'm just trying to work my my daily food, and there's not room for everything every day. So I do have keto chow most days, so that is dairy. But I don't have keto chow and cheese sauce and heavy cream and all the other things. So it's a question. And Blue Dove says they're on a slight break from being strict until after Valentine's. It's delicious old Amsterdam goat Gouda. Whoa, that sounds good. I'd like to try that. So I'm gonna have to look for some. But so it does look like I'm actually getting the 15 out of the recipe too. So, and other than that, this bent in my cooling rack is definitely much more cookie-like than they first started out. Stiff as a board and very cookie-like. Let's see. Oh, Rancan Cook says that he does love cheese, but he hasn't really missed it lately. Oh, and Strong 71 says watching me make the pizzelles has made them order a pizzelle maker. So, well, it's good. Oh, and Tim says Tim has recognized that I made a crap load of these. Yeah, the recipe from Keto Chow says it makes 15, and in the past I've always only gotten 10, but I do seem to be getting 15, maybe even 16 tonight. So the full deal, not bad. And then Exchange Student says they thought adding almond extract to KC vanilla was great. It is. I like that, but what I like adding to the vanilla more is cake extract. I think the cake extract is really tasty in it. And Caboodle Bry says that cheese is what they're being the most careful with reintroducing after BBBE. They've had a bit on toggle plates, but that's it so far. And I don't see what J-Dog said, but now I want to try and scroll back to look for it. Oh, there it is. Oh, J-Dog, why do cows have hooves instead of feet? Because they're lactose. That's a good one. Aw, that should be on my Cheese Friday jokes, but it's all right. I'll let it go this time. So, I did make a lot of them, but that's why they'll last for several days, and they'll be great if I just have like, because it's one serving of keto chow, and so really I'm not going to feel bad about it at all. It'll be great. I'll mix and match my keto chow so that I'm having less than one serving, and it'll work out nicely as part of my meals. Let's see. Oh, and we all acknowledge, yes, there you go, J-Dog. And Carrie's not on this live stream, so it's one that Carrie hasn't told yet. Ooh. Maybe Carrie will catch this on replay, though, and then be like, we don't know. So, any last questions before we go for the night? Because I gotta get up stupid early for work tomorrow. I think we're in good shape. Oh, and OP says they did dairy-free for a few weeks and then got tested to make sure it was not causing a reaction. Our bodies do change over time, and some changes only need to be temporary. That's true. I often do pretty good with just like a temporary little shake-up of stuff. Like sometimes Oh, and J-Dog says Carrie's his doppelganger with the stupid corny jokes. I love all of these jokes. And Renee says, sorry they went there. And guess who said Paul told her to watch the KC live the other day, and she almost fell over. Yeah, Carrie's got like a 9 million of them. I'm impressed because it takes me a bit to either look up or remember or make up my cheesy jokes. So really, oh, whoops, I burned that one. I don't know. It might turn out awesome. We'll see. It's very, very super thin and very, very dark. All right, and Caboodle Bry says, everyone have a fantastic weekend, or week rather, and I'll see you guys soon. And talk to you, J-Dog. Good night. Good night, everybody. It's really good to laugh live with you. I'll talk to you all soon. I'll see you tomorrow on Keto on the Couch with two crazy ketos. Bye-bye.